you always say you're already in town, okay? And then you figure out how to get there. Maybe I shouldn't say that on a podcast. I am so happy that you're here because this week we're talking about something fun, something current, something I'm experiencing outside my window right now. Snow in New York. No, not just snow. Actually, New York Fashion Week is what we're really experiencing. And it also snowed last night. It was the craziest. I could hear the ice slamming against the window of my hotel room. And I was like, well, it's like a winter wonderland. And it makes me sad that it's not Christmas, in fact. But it's beautiful out. All the buildings are covered with a little bit of snow. Makes me feel like I'm in the Midwest again, even though I'm kind of like on the East Coast, I guess. And I'm here this week for a full 7 days to be celebrating New York Fashion Week. And I know that you're probably thinking, what does that mean? What does that entail? How do I even get here? What makes me special enough to be invited? All questions I still ask myself. All questions I ask myself. But I'm going to tell you what I do know and how you can come too if you were ever interested. Because I feel like New York Fashion Week is actually a little bit more accessible than I was expecting it to be. Some events, not so much. But I feel like some events, absolutely. If you find the right friends and make the right contacts, you could absolutely get into events during New York Fashion Week. So I'm going to tell you all my tips and tricks from imposter syndrome to what influencers are like while I'm wandering around these streets to getting invited and what does Fashion Week mean to me. So yeah, let's get into this week's episode. I'm really cozy in my bed. I'm patiently waiting for a chai to be delivered to my room. And I'm going to start this episode with the usual rosebud thorn. I feel like during Fashion Week, this is so bad to say, I feel like I have a few more thorns than normal because I feel like it's a very draining week as a whole. Kind of a lot of events, depending on if you go to a lot. It just feels like I'm on all the time during Fashion Week. I really don't get a lot of time to be doing what we're doing right now, and that's sitting in my room, relaxing a little bit, kind of enjoying the peace and quiet that doesn't really exist normally during New York Fashion Week. So the truth is, I feel like my thorn is that I'm usually really tired. My other thorn is that I was supposed to go to Wicked last night on Broadway. I was radiating all week about it. I could not wait. And then I realized that I had to do one of my long runs for my marathon training. So I went for a long run and unfortunately got so sick from I feel like this happened after my marathon too. I just haven't run my long distances in a while. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go and do a 10 and we'll be good to go. It was on my thing that I was supposed to do a long run today actually, but I didn't want to do it today because I have a lot of work today. So get on the treadmill. Also hate treadmill running. Ran my straight 10 miles. And then I just got a tummy ache. It really was just a tummy ache. And I could not be too far from a restroom. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to go do? Sit in this theater. I'm in a middle seat in the middle of a section, which means I have no way to get out. And that gave me even more anxiety, which made me feel even more nauseous. And so we skipped. And then I also, on top of that, had period cramps. So it kind of felt like a double whammy. And the universe didn't want me to see the ending of Wicked. And the reason I want to see Wicked is because I want to know how it ends. I only know the first half because I've only ever seen the movie. That's a really big thorn for me, honestly. I'm still kind of mourning that loss yesterday. But my bud for this week, honestly, this is a good one to say. I had a lot of good meetings this week. That's what I feel like my fashion week is mostly about. When I come to New York, I always end up getting to have meetings with the fashion houses or brands that I'm interested in working with or just kind of getting in the room a little bit. And so this week I had a lot of exciting meetings and a lot of cool invites that I'm hoping I made a good impression on. And hopefully they transcend into being invites for future shows or events. I've never attended Milan Fashion Week. I've only ever gone to New York and Paris, which are honestly, I'm pretty ride or die for Paris Fashion Week. But I would love to try Milan this year. And so it's really exciting that there's maybe an opportunity if I made a good impression that I could get invited to those. So yeah, that's my bud, is the excitement of the unknown. I'm not really sure what fashion weeks have in store for me in the future, but I'm looking forward to kind of seeing hopefully those relationships blossom and also get the chance to go be in that room. And my rose of this week is probably just being in New York generally. I really love being in the city. I got to see my sister while I was here. She's actually now in LA, so she's chilling at my place for me while I'm gone, and we're gonna do we did like a little city swap. I mean, another kind of mini thorn is that Bru's not here. I get a little lonely when I'm by myself in a room for a week, so it's so quiet. It's so quiet in here. But that's also good for me probably to have like a little bit of silence from time to time. But I love being in New York and I love visiting. Honestly, after feeling this cold weather, I realize I'm not a winter in New York girl. It's freaking cold. I forgot how cold it was here. But yeah, that's probably my rose, is just like the city as a whole. And also, especially the city during a time of the year where the events matter, the parties matter, the people are all excited and going out. And I feel like that's probably all the time in New York. But in this specific week, New York Fashion Week really brings out some of the best in people, in my opinion. And it's because it gives us a chance to be so self-expressive and so unique. So let's get into why I'm here. I have not come to New York Fashion Week for 2 years. This is my first time back in 2 years. I know you're thinking, like, why did you take a break? What happened? And there is a little bit of tea of why I didn't come back. I sometimes get imposter syndrome of New York Fashion Week because I'm not from New York. And that sounds silly. I'm also not from Paris. So, like, how does that apply? And I'll explain. I feel like New York fashion girlies own the scene. Own the scene. Like, they know exactly what they're doing, exactly where to go, all this stuff. And I feel like my very first time coming to New York Fashion Week, I was presented with the opportunity from my team. And they were like, hey, we think this would be a good way for you to get out there and, like, get in front of a few. Oh, I think my chai just got here. This is my dream, is sitting in bed, drinking a little latte, and hanging out with you guys, honestly. I could not think of a better way to spend my Sunday. Okay, so I was going to say, a few years ago, I did in fact come to New York Fashion Week. And my issue is that I had the worst imposter syndrome. My team pitched this idea. They're like, you should go. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, my true love is video making. So having different elements that can further inspire what I make in my content, I always say yes to. And I think that's why you see me go to like such random opportunities. It's because I'm like, cool ways to capture videos of this, cool ways to capture content. So I'm like, okay, let's go to New York. Let's figure it out. I feel like night one, I like went to one event and everybody, I don't know, this was me being insecure. So I'm going to like open up with saying that it was nobody else's fault but my own that I felt this way. I felt like I walked into like a dinner and everyone was like running in and out and they were like, oh, well, this is my 7th event of the night. How many are you going to tonight? Oh, you didn't get invited to that? Okay, fine, sorry. No, that's like, it's good. You really do have to work up to that. Like, it's a big deal to go to these other events. So I'm just gonna, sorry, okay. I actually, oh my God, I don't even get to stay for dinner. I'm so hungry and so exhausted, but I gotta go run to my next one. I have 4 more to go to still tonight. And I was like, holy shit, I was like, it made me really insecure. It made me stressed. It made me feel like I was behind or like I wasn't doing New York Fashion Week properly. Oh, it brought me stress. I did not like that one bit. What I ended up realizing is that it really doesn't matter what everybody else is going to. I think that I went into New York Fashion Week my very first time with a very comparative mindset, a very competitive mindset. I don't think I had a competitive mindset. I'm really not somebody who like goes to these events with that, but I think feeling other people boasting and feeling competitive made me kind of want to wither away. Something that I think is so interesting about meeting influencers in the wild. I am an influencer in the wild, and I'm going to tell you a story about it in 1 second, but first, especially in New York, I think that I'm somebody who comes to these events as like a way to like enjoy meeting people and have a good time. And like, I'm a big like live in the moment experience girly. That's why sometimes I even struggle to make content. I'm really good at making everything before I leave the house because once I get there, I want to be locked in. I want to be connected. I want to be around all these people. Something that I kind of realize is like, this is a lot of people's job, first off. Second, they're doing their job well. They're grinding. They're getting their content. They might not be so open to like stop and visit with you at an event sometimes because they're kind of focused on doing their thing. And I want to be sad about that. And there's a part of me sometimes when I meet other creators where I'm like, dang, you're not how I thought you were going to be. But I also think, similarly to when we see them online, we see them for 5 minutes of their day. When we see them in person, we see them for 5 minutes of their day. that is not a full disclosure of how people truly, genuinely appear and are. So at New York Fashion Week, I find myself giving a lot of grace for how people act. That's also only regarding people who I do not know or talk to regularly. If I know or talk to someone regularly and then I finally meet them in person and they're like nothing like I thought, my heart's hurting a lot, actually quite a bit. But I will say I got to meet some really fun creators this time around that I was like, okay, a great example, somebody who I wouldn't say like I saw her for more than I've ever seen her for before, and she is even cooler in person than she is online. That's Teffy. She is so fun, so cool, and hilarious. Like, that's a creator who I, like, watch online, and I'm like, man, she seems so cool. And then in person, I'm like, oh, my God, she's so much cooler than I even thought she was online. I will say I have found creators and surrounded myself with creators that I really enjoy the presence of. Like, I love Vivian and Larson and Izzy Poopy and Teffy now for sure. I've gotten to meet Davis, Hannah Harrell. Like, these are like the fashion icons that I feel like I watch on my For You page. I've met them all before prior as well, so it's really nice when you see them and you're like, oh, a familiar face. Getting to meet influencers in the wild, I think people give a lot of judgment, but like, sheesh, these people are grinding. They're getting their content. And my one little funny story is I still, despite this being my job, I'm really good at photographing and filming inside of my hotel room. I get so nervous out on the street because I don't want to make it on like an influencer in the wild. I'm a little scared. I'm a little fearful of getting caught in public filming. But I also don't know why. Like, what, you're going to hate on me for being creative in public and like capturing a moment in time? Also, this is my job. That's what I have to remind myself too. I sometimes forget that it's like, it's not just for fun and it doesn't have to be embarrassing. There's the trend going around where it was like, I met a younger version of myself for coffee and here's how she showed up versus how I showed up. Okay, the original creator is Janae Cecilia Poetry. She wrote this beautiful poem about like meeting a younger version of yourself for coffee and how you guys differ and like how you kind of encourage them to keep going. And so for that, I obviously wanted a picture of me having a coffee or like being in a cafe. And I don't know that I usually when I'm getting my coffee, I'm not that cute. Like, it's like my first start of my morning routine. It's not like something that I'm like, take this picture of me with this cup of coffee. You know what I mean? So I went out and got the photo taken. I took a friend with me and we went out and took photos in a coffee shop so we could have like a really pretty backdrop photo for the video of me drinking a cup of coffee. And we get to this cafe. We walk in, we order our drinks, and I'm like, okay, asking my friend, like, will you go wait and see if any of the tables open up? And she pretty much waits, and none of the tables open up. So I walk over, and I'm standing there with her, and I pull out. Let me just give you guys context of this. First, we took photos on an iPhone, as one does, but I really wanted high-quality photos, and I just got this camera, so I've been using it like no one's business, and I built the most perfect film presets for it. Like, maybe one of my best-looking presets I built for this camera. Unfortunately, this is the size. It's the size of my head. This is the biggest camera that I own. This lens itself, this is the 28-70 f2 Canon lens. This is an R5 Mark II camera, okay? You know where this is going. In a small coffee shop in New York City. We're chilling. We're enjoying our time. And I'm like, listen, I really want it on the good camera. And I hate to be that person. But we couldn't find a seat. And like, it would have been no big deal to be in like a little cafe seat and be like, no big deal, right? None of the seats opened up in the cafe. So we're standing in the standing room section, which means that the only way to get the photo would be for her to like pretty much stand in the middle of the cafe and take it of me against the window. And you want to know what we did? And it turned out phenomenal. Like, the photos were literally so cute. But like, there's for sure a moment where I'm sitting there like, God, this is so embarrassing. I'm one of those people taking a picture in a coffee shop. But the picture slayed. Hindsight, I can't be that upset. But I do feel like an influencer in the wild. And it makes me question if I'm okay sometimes. Because, no, that's not fair to say. I mean, even my friend and I joked, she was like, this is giving influencer in the wild. And I was like, no, I know that. Just take the picture fast, okay? Like, we're going to take a deep breath. We're going to snap 10. I'm going to look around a bunch. Just, like, trigger finger it as quickly as you can. And listen, we got the shot. So I'm not that sad, but I will say I still am very embarrassed. And honestly, this is why I think creators and influencers in New York City are built different. They have no shame. I consider myself a confident person, but that moment makes me nervous. Not because I'm embarrassed of what I'm doing. It's because I feel like, you want to know what it is deep down? Okay, this is like my psychology of this. It's not that I'm embarrassed to like be taking a picture in public. It's that I feel like I'm bothering people, even though I'm really minding my business, and we're not like asking people to move their chairs to make room or asking people like, hey, can you get up so I can take a picture here real quick? I'm interrupting no one, but it makes me feel like I'm causing a scene. And everyone's just trying to chill. And I am not being chill, and I feel like I'm ruining the vibes. Where is that deeply rooted from in my childhood, you ask? I don't know. Probably getting called annoying too much as a kid. But yeah, it's funny. It's really not it's not even about me. I'm more stressed that I'm annoying you, you know? Like, I'm more stressed that I'm causing problems to the people who are just trying to have a freaking cup of coffee right now. I don't know, it feels selfish. Like, I'm sorry I'm taking up space real quick. Let me curl back into my little hole of fear. No, we're not doing that. Fork that. I'm taking my picture and I'm going to look good doing it. And I am not interrupting anybody, and I'm not making a scene, and I'm not being loud and obnoxious. I'm just being a girl. Trying to get a picture with my coffee to meet my younger self on TikTok. The reason I love fashion, it's because there's no right way to do it. It is such a version of uniqueness and self-expression, and you kind of realize the more that you're around people who are interested in fashion that your greatest asset is your uniqueness. It feels like a very low judgment week when you walk into a room and you're wearing something different and weird, and what some would I'm going to use the word weird, but not weird in a negative way. Weird is in an unnormal way. It's exciting. It's fun. It's inspiring. It's creative. It's the same way that when I like see an outfit or I see a moment or I see a look and I say, oh my gosh, I see exactly what that would look like in my head if I took a photo of it. I mean, one of my photos this week was inside of my bathtub, and I feel like people ate it up because it's like weird, but it kind of worked for some reason. Like, it kind of slayed the house down. And that's how I feel about fashion too. It feels like such an extension of us and who we are. And yes, you can wear what yes, we can go for, oh my God, trending. Oh my God, everyone's talking about this look or that look, or oh my God, layered sweaters or draping a flannel and putting the collar out and blah, 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 blah. We could totally, I love a trend. Trust me, everything I wear is from a trend. It's from being inspired from what I see other people wearing. But also such an extension of yourself. And I think that that's like the one thing when I come to Fashion Week I'm kind of thinking about is like, who do I want to be? Like, really, who do I want to be? Who do I want to depict? Who do I want to like evolve into? You know? Because sometimes I do feel like I fall into like what's trending or what's comfortable. That's like my biggest downfall is I'm a big comfort. Like, literally look at me right now. I'm wearing what I think is the coziest outfit that I can put on for my day. But I also want it to be stylish and a depiction of me. So I feel like during Fashion Week, I'm thinking about that a little bit more, and I'm trying to elevate looks that I really enjoy from other people. Like, I'm obsessed with baggy jeans. I'm obsessed with baggy jeans paired with a baggy sweatshirt. I'm working at being better at layering and picking items that like are forever pieces. I think that that's something in my fashion sense that I'm building into is like having a closet of stuff that's not one-time wears. You know? Like staple pieces that can be versatile beyond just casual everyday trends. They're versatile because they're all pieces that look a lot like me. I feel like when I come to Fashion Week, I watch the runway shows, I watch the presentations, I'm wandering around the streets, I'm like looking at what people are wearing at the freaking airport. It's all about looking for pieces of myself in that and how I can take those ideas and kind of mold them all together. It's like when you're a little kid and you have that book where like you could flip the top and that like it was like a doll and you would flip the pages and it would be like different shirts and then different pants and then different shoes and you could like pair them all differently. That's what I feel like I'm trying to do with my closet right now. I'm trying to be like her. I'm trying to be like the doll, and we're trying to flip the pages and find different versions of me. That's what I'm enjoying, and that's what I feel like I come to New York Fashion Week with the real intention of doing. Now, if you're someone who's interested in fashion, let's say you're interested in being a content creator, let's say you're interested in coming to New York and being a part of this experience, how do you get invited? How do you get on the list? This is what's really interesting is I don't exactly know. Okay, this is about to give some tea on like little BTS of what being a creator entails, like the kind of the version that you don't see online. I have a team of people at an agency. I have a manager, and I also have publicists. And pretty much the secret sauce is that you have a publicist who gets you invited. And they don't get you invited per se, but they pitch you for the events. So that's how I go to anything. That, and also pre-existing relationships with the brands. Like, for example, I got invited to Carolina Herrera, courtesy of my publicist last season. And tomorrow, I am also going to Carolina Herrera again because they saw my content and they thought that it was really cute. And they were like, we'd love to have you back. We actually have like a smaller group this year, but like we'd love for you to be included because we love what you made. And like we think you look stunning in our dresses. So first I got pitched, but then I got asked. So I kind of like, because of them pitching me, got a pre-existing relationship. And then they asked for me to come back and they just like reached out over email like, hey, we'd love to extend an offer. Now I actually attended Louis Vuitton before I had a publicist because they had seen my content online and I got invited to a perfume event first. So sometimes it really is that you have to go to other stuff to build a relationship. I got invited to attend a perfume event in LA on the street that I lived on. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going. The perfume launch was for the City of Stars. And I went to the event and I wore head to toe Louis Vuitton that they had like allowed me to borrow for the event itself. Took so many pictures, so many videos. That was actually my first time I ever got my hair and makeup done. And then somehow, like 6 months later, Paris Fashion Week comes around and they reach out asking if I was going to be in town. I'm going to tell you something. You always say you're already in town, okay? And then you figure out how to get there. Maybe I shouldn't say that on a podcast, but that's what I do. For example, like for Paris, I'm already going to be there. I don't have any reason to be there. I have not been invited yet to anything. But if you need me, I'm going to be there. So if they say, hey, just checking if you're planning to be in town during these dates, and the answer is always, absolutely I am, my ticket's already booked. But you're prepared in case somebody needs you. And that's what I mean. For a lot of these events and shows, it's kind of like sometimes you get the luck of the draw by just being in the right place at the right time. You might not start with a show. You might be able to start with a presentation. Like if you think about the fashion brands that you love, reach out to the brand and say, hey, I live in New York. I know you're New York based. Are you hosting any events this week for creators? I would love to be a part of it and like make a video in exchange for attendance. Don't be afraid to girl boss that. Honestly, you might just have to be able to offer them something in exchange for it. Like for me, my offer in exchange is like, I'm going to wear the clothes. I'm pretty sure brands know they're going to get a good photo of me in the outfit. I'm going to post about it on my Instagram. I'm going to share it on my stories. All the things. That's my exchange. Is like, hey, I love your clothing. I like to wear it. And I'm going to share with my community what it looks like when I'm there. And that's how you get invited. I also always see this. This is a totally side note, but it's coming to my mind, of course. People are always like, why are there influencers at the Grammys? Who else would post that the Grammys are going on? The artists are not doing it. They're enjoying their day of winning an award. All you have are news outlets if you don't have creators there. And I feel like creators offer a really unique perspective because we are, like, generally speaking, pretty normal people who just know how to take a good video. Like, it's kind of exciting that, like, for me at least, like, I got invited with 2 people to go to the Grammys. So I went with a brand on one part, and then I also went with CBS. And that's how I was able to walk the carpets because CBS allowed me to. And what's crazy is it's like the reason we're there, okay, is because we know how to tell a good story about what it's like to go and get ready and share like that experience. And it's like, it's so genuine to share something when you're invited to an event because it's like, I am also losing my marbles. And I feel that way about Fashion Week. When I get invited to a cool show like Carolina Herrera tomorrow, 1, I love my dress. I got to pick out my dress. I love my dress so much. It's blue. It has a big flower on it, and I'm freaking excited. 2, I love the brand. 3, I love the freaking runway show. There's so many ball gowns. There's still this one ball gown that I think of to this day that's black and yellow. Or there's one that's all yellow, and I also love that one. That's from Runway last season. Guys, I want to wear it to a show so bad. Like, someone invite me to the Oscars and let me wear the Carolina Herrera dress, okay? I want to wear it so bad. It looks like literally it's giving Belle or just like newly invented Disney princess that looks like Sunshine. I can be her. Disney, if you're casting, let me know. Like, there's something so exciting. And so that's why I feel like when you get invited to an event like the Grammys, it's so easy to just be like, yep, I'm good to go. I want to go in this outfit. I'm like going to share so much because I'm happy to be there. I'm going to share what my experience was like because I also don't know. Just so people are like, how did they get there? I'm also like, how did I get there? You're telling me I have one shot at the glam bot? Crap. I've only been thinking about it for the last 365 days. It's that way about Fashion Week too. It's like you find out you get invited to a show, you get invited to an event, you get dressed up, you get to see the people that you look up to, you get to meet people who have incredible jobs you would never know existed. And then you also just get to like make fun videos during it. What a crazy job. So, Fashion Week is exciting. It's fun. Tomorrow is my busiest day, in fact. I have Carolina Herrera in the morning. Hang on, let me read you my calendar. I also get sent this little list of things that I have to do every single day from my publicist. Okay, so tomorrow is my busiest day. It starts with, oh my God, I just read the time that it starts at. Here's my schedule for tomorrow. 6 a.m. glam. Then at 9:05, I depart for the Carolina Herrera show. And now I know what you're thinking. 6 a.m. to 9 is a long time. I get glam for 2 hours, and I bake into my schedule 1 hour of content creation. My dress tomorrow is phenomenal, so I'm really excited, but I still have to brainstorm what the fork I'm going to do in that dress. If anything, this plain white background might be my best bet because it's like the most beautiful, simple blue dress. Or if I get lucky and it snows a little bit more in New York City, there could be something really fun about being in the snow in like a little floral blue dress. Then 10 a.m. is the Carolina show. I get there at 9:30. I have to take a photo. I have to outdo last year's photo. And last year's photo was good. So good luck to me. 10 a.m. the show begins. It'll probably wrap in 15 to 30 minutes as my guess. So I'll be out of there by 10:30, 10:45. I'll head back home. But then I go to a 1 p.m. Tanner Fletcher New York Fashion Week presentation. And I know what you're thinking. Show versus presentation. Show is runway. You sit down and you watch people walk. A presentation is like the showing of the new line that comes out in the fall. But it's not a runway show. Sometimes there's people in the outfits walking around, and sometimes they're like on little pedestals, or there's models who are like wearing the clothing. A lot of times though, it's kind of just like to show the inspiration and the style, and it's more of like a party vibe. So you kind of walk in and out. There's no like set time. But I'm going at 1 p.m. tomorrow. And then at 3 p.m., I go to the Kobe Halpern New York Fashion Week runway show. That one I'm seated at. I'm really excited because I love my outfit for that one, but I still have to find shoes for it. That is the downfall. I can't find the heels that I'm imagining in my head for that show. So good luck to me because I have no idea what I'm going to wear. But I know the outfit. I just don't know the shoe situation. And then that is my day. I will be wrapping by 4 p.m. tomorrow. And I know that tomorrow is my most exciting day because I have 2 runway shows, which I actually, have I attended a runway show since I've been here yet? I went to Stella McCartney. I went to Prada. I attended the Veronica Beard presentation yesterday. I've had a lot of meetings, and then I have 2 runway shows in a single day, which is what I'm really looking forward to. Like, I love a runway show because it feels like official and cool. So, yeah, I'm excited. It's all really exciting. We don't really get to talk about the fact that New York Fashion Week is like such a weird niche experience, but it's a cool time to be in New York. There's so much going on. There's so many people here, and it's so inspiring to get to sit and watch the creators that I look up to and admire walk into the room in such creative and fun and like new fashion senses. That's my roundup on what it's like to attend New York Fashion Week. And I know this episode was a little bit random, but I'm happy to have brought you with me to New York for a little episode on this podcast. I'm so happy that you're here. I hope you enjoyed this episode and that was fun and creative and something kind of new. And I'm looking forward to catch up with you next week and talk even more about the exciting things. I have a little feeling that our next episode is going to be really fun. And I think it might be a little bit fitness related. We'll see. I'll check in with you on that in a week. But I love you. I'm so happy you're here. And thanks for staying around. Bye, guys.